Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Chilliwack, British Columbia for the Canadian Cattle Farmer. Now if you caught the live stream on the weekend, you would have seen we got a whole lot of field prep completed and everything all ready to go for planting when spring comes around. So we'll take a look at that in just a minute, but we've basically cultivated all our fields and got the pH lime values boosted on everything. In fact, let's go and take a look at that now. There you go, you can see fields 133, 134 and 135 are all cultivated. We've got a couple of different textures in there because we used different cultivators as we worked through it, and likewise with fields 147 and 148 there behind the yard. A few little bits and pieces we missed in those fields, or horseplay missed at least, but hopefully we'll be able to get that squared away and tidied up when we come into the plant. The only field we have left anything to do with is 195 down here by the cattle barn or cattle pasture that we have. And I'm still trying to decide what we're going to do down there. It might become a grass field, we will see. As for the pH levels, you can see in precision farming there, we've got things looking pretty good. Interesting to see how it's gone a little bit patchy in that on the areas where we ploughed and increased our field. And that's because it would have started off with a very low pH to start with. Even though we had it set at automatic, obviously couldn't apply it quickly enough to get it up to the levels. But it's still looking a lot healthier than it was. So that leaves us with this dirty equipment which we're going to get cleaned up and put away. Now the other thing we tried in the live stream was to start mixing some feed up for our animals using Maize Plus, and we were going for the realistic mixture, and it came to my attention that we actually needed some grass silage, which we don't have any of, and there was a few other issues that we came up against that I've got a solution for, and that is what we're going to get into today, is taking a look at trying to get some food mixed up for our animals, for the cows, and get that delivered down to the different pastures. It is going to require some investment, and it is going to require an extension on our loan, which is not ideal, but I think at this stage is unavoidable, and the end result should be a vast improvement where we're sitting right now. So we're going to go get that done once we've got all these things put away. So let's get on to it. So we've got everything put away, tidied up, and the yard is looking much better than it was when we finished up last time. We're on our way down to the shop, we're following the truck down, so we've got a couple of things we're going to go purchase. I'll explain a little bit more when we get down there, but the main reason for taking the truck is we do need to buy some grass silage bales, so that is going to be the easiest way to get that grass silage input that we need to make our Maize Plus mixture. But we've also got a couple of other things we're going to pick up, which is why we are taking the gooseneck down, so we'll get on down there, have a look, see how much money we need to borrow. I'm still a little bit uncertain how much we're going to have to increase that loan. And then we'll get back and get started on getting some animal feed mixed up and delivered down here to these animals and all the other ones that we have scattered around the different cattle pens. So we're just getting turned in here to the shop. Now we will go and get the truck loaded up with bales. I think it takes 36, if I can remember correctly. So we're going to buy 36 grass silage bales and get them loaded up and delivered back down to the store. But we've obviously, like I said, got some other things to go and buy. So we'll go and have a look in the catalogue and check those out. So taking a look here under bales, we've got the round bale grass silage, $560 for a bale. Have a look at 8. It's going to cost us $4,480 for that, and we want 36 total. So we're going to want 4 and a half of that. So we're almost looking at about 20 grand for the bales. So we'll get some money for that, extend our loan. Now, taking a look at some of the other things that we want to buy. We are going to pick up a conveyor here, and we're going to get the grimy one. This is so we can unload the maize silage out of the harvest store and get it into one of our mixers. Obviously we had issues last time in the live stream with the height of the conveyor out of the harvest store. We couldn't get a mixer or anything in underneath that, and we were having to use the forks on the front of the front loader, which just did not make sense at all. So we're going to pick up one of these just to make that task a little bit easier, particularly if we are going to have to mix up a huge quantities of silage and TMR. So $38,000 for there, so we're up to $58,000 to go and borrow. But where the real money is going to come is looking at a different option for our feed mixer. So we have the Knight IT26 here, which is an IT runner feed mixer. Now it has a 26,000 litre capacity, so a little bit bigger than the mixers we have at the moment, but we obviously need an IT runner to haul it on. Now there's a couple of different options for those. We could get the IT runner pack here. We've got an option there, $45,000 for the long one, and included in this pack there is actually another feed mixer. Have a look there. It's only 11.5 or 11,900 litre capacity, so really not worth it for what we want to do, but we do have this option here for the Mac trucks with the IT runner attachment. Now the three different trucks there, the Pinnacle obviously the lower range, Anthem about the same price, and then the Superliner, a little bit more expensive, nicer looking truck, but I think we are going to be forced into looking maybe at the Pinnacle and picking up the IT runner. So we've gone from spending $58,000 on a conveyor and some bales to adding in another $110,000 or so to pick up a new truck and the attachment required for it. The beauty of this is 49 miles per hour, we can run that back and forth between the yard a lot faster than any of our tractors would go hauling the feed wagons, and we can obviously haul more at once than we can in the feed wagons. So it does seem like an expense that we might not have to spend. We could look at selling some of our existing feed mixers, and we might do that in the future. We'll see how this setup goes. But we're going to go in and borrow the $160,000 or $170,000 we need to buy everything we require and get it all set up and going. We've taken our loan there up to $900K. We've got $180,000 in the bank. Now just a reminder, look here under our time saving stock check. We do have almost $500,000 worth of product sitting in the silos, but we are going to have to wait quite some time. We're in November at the moment. A wee while until we'll get the maximum price there for our soybeans. So we'll take the hit, we'll take the interest penalties that we have to pay to be able to do what we do and develop the farm. We haven't even built our feedlots yet, so that is certainly something else we have to be mindful of, and whether we may have to borrow more money to do that. But you got to spend money to make money, right? So I'll quickly go through, get everything bought, set up, loaded up onto the truck, put on the back of the gooseneck, and we'll head on back down to the yard. So everything's all loaded up. Here is our new truck and mixer. Gone for the same colour, see it in the sunlight. Same colour as the trucks we already had, so fit in nicely. Would have been nice to get the Superliner, but as it was, I actually underestimated how much money we needed, and we had to borrow another $50,000. I'm trying to correlate that with my maths. I think I might have got to put the cost of the mixer in maybe. We looked at the truck and the IT attachment, but not the actual cost of the 50 grand of the mixer. So a little bit more than I was hoping to spend, but there we go. And I also got too many bales. Got too many bales. We got 34 on the back of the truck. Got 2 more left over there, but we'll come back and get those at some stage. Managed to get the conveyor up there on the gooseneck, so everything's all loaded up and ready to head back onto the yard. So we'll send the 2 trucks off with auto drive. We'll carefully head on back with the conveyor, and we'll catch you down back at the yard. We've made it back to the yard without too many dramas. A little bit of an issue with auto drive not wanting to work on the truck, or both the trucks actually. For some reason the IT runner wanted to unfold and drop the IT unit on the ground and drive with it like that, as if that was its folded state when running an auto drive, and the truck just wouldn't drive at all. I wonder if that's because I had the bales loaded to the trailer. I'm not sure. But we're back here, we've got the conveyor, so we can get things unstrapped, and we'll get the back of this unfolded, we get this unloaded, and we'll go and get the bales off the back of the trailer. Decided we'll stack them here against the side of the barn. That will be as good a place as any for now. We don't need to buy another storage for that. And we've got the IT runner over here. We'll try and get our first mix, or first realistic mixture done for getting some animals fed. Bales unloaded, we've got the conveyor here in position. We just press our fill button, we can come across here and find our maize silage. There we go. Starting to get some out of our silo. That's good. We'll go and get the tractor out. I think we're going to need to get the Kubota with the grab on the front so we can go and pick up some bales. And we'll get the truck over here and in position to start making our mixture. We're going to have to pay careful attention to what exactly we need to put in, because that's not what I did last time. As you can see with Maize Plus, we do get that very helpful overlay down the bottom telling us what our possible inputs are. Now if we look down the very bottom, we've got grass silage and maize silage. Minimum 10, maximum of 90. So that is the majority of what we need to put in for our mix. 26,000 litre capacity in here. So it's not actually that much more than the mixer we had. Mixer had about a 23,000 litre capacity. But it is bigger, and obviously the speed we can run at is also a big advantage. So we can click that to keep filling. Hopefully that will keep going for the whole time. And we'll get a decent amount in there, and we'll go and grab the forks, and while this is loading we'll go and put some grass in as well. The first couple of bales here. Now I'm hoping we have this grabbed properly. We can just go and put these up in here, and they'll start filling in that. We'll get that opened and drop them in. Here we are, one's disappeared. Second one hasn't yet. Let's hope. Oh, there we go. It has disappeared now. So let's just jump over here. We should be able to have a look and see how close. We're 20,000 of 26,000 litres in there. 13,000 maize, 7,000 grass silage. So we've got our mixture looking good here. I think we should be able to, if we look through the list. We can pad it out with straw. Maximum of 20%. Now 20% of 26,000 is just under 5,000. 5,200. And I think our bales are 5,000 litres, so we do need to be very careful with this, and this is what caught me out last time. But I think I'm going to grab a straw bale out and just double check to see what its capacity is. So it does say there, next object 5,000 litres. We've just spawned one bale. Turn around and have a look. It is sitting there, and if we go and have a look at it, it does tell us 5,000 litres. So hopefully that will just about fill us up, and use that as a little bit of padding in the mix. It means we're not using our more expensive products like the grass silage or the maize silage. The straw really was just a byproduct that we were able to use. Come down, grab this, get that picked up, and we'll go drop it in the back of the mixer, and that should take us pretty much close to max capacity and a first of our mixers. There we go, it disappeared. So we'll hop back over here next to the truck. 25,389 litres, you can see down the bottom of 26,000. So we'll just top it off with some maize. Doesn't take too much to do. Well, we don't seem to be able to get any more maize out of the silo, which is a little bit frustrating. Not quite sure why that is, but that's alright. We might have to just be careful when using that trigger that we put the maize in first, rather than anything else. But we've got our TMR mixture. We have got it set up perfectly for us. So let's head on down to the first of our cattle pastures. We'll head to the one just up the road here, and go and see about getting some of our animals fed. Moment of truth as we pull in here. Now the unload is on the left hand side, so we'll come down the side here. This is where our new track's going to be going in at some stage. Obviously the money is not in our account to be able to do that now, but we'll get turned around and we'll go about seeing about getting these first lot of cows fed. 50 cows sitting in here, so it'll be interesting to see how far this will go. Pulled up there, hop out, go and get the door opened up. There we are. See if we can come in here. Pretty sure this is the feed trigger through here. We will find out. Open the door on the other end so we can come out at the same time. But of course these have no food, so they have used all of the material they had up. All the grass that they have in the pasture has all been eaten. So I'm just going to drive in here. Hopefully I'm going to get an unload trigger. If I didn't get the trigger the first time through, I wonder if I was too far across. It does show the trigger there. For our feed. Action cannot be formed here. I wonder if it's because it's too high. Let's drop it off the back of the IT runner and see if that lowers that trigger down a little bit further. Get unloaded. Hopefully the truck can handle the weight. Did make a little bit of a bounce, but there we go. And we'll go and hop in the IT runner because it is one that you can enter. See if we can unload it that way. Ah, problem solved. We had to have the mixer actually turned on to be able to unload. There we go. Should be now be getting some food into our cow pasture. You can see that spawning along the edge here. So that is where the food will spawn. I'm intrigued now to see whether we can load that back up and get it to feed. In fact, I'm going to turn it off and see if we can do that and just make sure it will work again. And yes, we can. So it was just a case of having the mixer turned on and then the food could be delivered to the cows. Now I was just looking, the cows are looking very, very jittery, but if we just have a look there, my frames are sitting around 58, 59 frames. So it's certainly not a performance issue. It is something to do with the way they are animated and walking through there, which is a little bit interesting, frustrating, to say the least. But there we go, we're getting everything unloaded and getting these animals fed. So there we are, that is all emptied out. And if we just take a look here in the animal screen, take a look at the Holsteins, not quite halfway, we're probably about 2/5. I think another load, another 25,000, 26,000 litres will get us very close to being full, and that should keep them going for hopefully a little while. Be interesting, like I've heard, to see how long it takes for them to eat that, because the demands with Maize Plus is certainly a lot higher than with base animals. So I think we're going to race around. We've got 4 pens, you can see there, 50 in each. We're going to race around. We are going to give all of them some Maize Plus mixture, at least 1 load, maybe 2. see how we go, and we'll go from there. But just looking at these ones still had some grass, and their productivity is at 100%. Health and puberty, they are getting up there. The rest of them are in desperate need of some food, so we'll carry on and go and get them fed. Well, just getting the last mix here done, just getting the straw bale put in, everything else is all in there, so drop that in and we'll let that get mulched up and then we'll be good to go. So this is our 8th load. We've done 2 into, well, once we finished we would have done 2 into each of our cow pastures and cattle barns, so that'll be good. They're looking good getting that food. And it's taken a wee while, as is to be expected, because we do have a long way to go. Once the feedlot's here, and we're only mixing and feeding most of the animals just here, it certainly will be a whole lot quicker as a process. But we certainly got down to a pretty good routine there with getting bales ready and having everything good to go once the maize silage was in. I realised that the maize silage would tap out at 13,600 litres for some reason, and if we dropped a bale in too early like we did on this load, it would actually stop filling altogether. And I guess that's because of the trigger, because it's detecting something other than the maize silage in the mixer. So a little bit of something to consider when we're doing this in the future. But we'll head on down, we'll go to that last delivery and get this food all tipped into the barn, and then we'll be back. Getting the last of the feed here dumped into the cow barn. Intrigued to find out what is going on with these animals and why they seem to be so laggy and jittery. Like I said before, it's definitely nothing to do with the system performance, it's something in the game. So I might go through and disable a whole lot of the mods that I've added in that I'm not using, see if that might resolve it, and test it that way. If it doesn't fix things, it might be a shader cache or something like that we might need to delete and recompile, but we'll just get this last little bit here, just over 7,000 litres still to go, and then we'll be able to head on back down to the yard and pack things up. And there we are, all empty. Get that mixer turned off, door closed, and we'll be good to go. Before we do, let's just take a quick look in here at our animals. So you can see they have all got pretty much 50,000 litres of feed, 49 there, 48, 48, and 54 with the brown Swiss. The brown Swiss were the ones that still had some feed left from the grass that they had in the field. But there we go, that is all looking very good. I did notice how much slurry we have too, 83, 17, 48 and 91. I think when we look in the time saving stock check there, we've got 241,000 litres of slurry. Not worth anything, so we'll have to see about whether we can get it spread onto some of our fields at some stage. Of course we don't have any equipment for that, and we're already heavily in debt, so we don't really want to be thinking about doing that right now. But I'm sure there'll be some way we can get something done. Anyhow, let's get our way back down to the yard and we'll wrap things up for today. So I think we'll park this here just in the straw barn. We left the Kubota there in the other barn, so they are easy to get to. Probably not ideal leading into winter having this equipment parked out in the colder potential conditions, but for now we'll have to make do with them there. As for our bales of silage, what do we use? We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 left of the 34 or 36 that we bought, so we've actually used half of them. There is the 2 down at the store all ready to go and pick up. For this setup, I'm pretty impressed with how it works. What I did have in mind, we do have a hitch there on the back, so I did consider buying the IT runner trailer and another of the mixers. It would be another $100,000 investment, but it would save us a lot of time if we could run 2 of these mixers down to the barns at the same time. We would certainly cover a whole lot more ground and get a whole lot more food delivered to them. But that might only be a short-term requirement, because once the feedlot is out here, we're not going to have to worry about it. And that $100,000 might be better spent in getting that built. But anyhow, that is a perfect place to wrap up this episode. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.